uh, just so I can get it updated because that's what I'm doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, and now we're gonna go back over to the actual one, and we're gonna start the next stream, which is the trailer here. And that keeps.
And now a special look at Disney's Snow White, only in cinemas this March.
My father told me long ago I braved a bitter storm of snow. Is that a girl I'll ever know again? I'm waiting on a wish beneath 1,000 treetops, and as the silver sky stops, I long to leave the walls behind me. Waiting on a wish, holding out for someday, hoping somehow, someway, there comes a miracle to find me. I close my eyes and see the girl I'm meant to be. Is she a part of me I've had to hide? Waiting on a wish.
Disney Snow White, only in cinemas.
Go ahead and delete this. That one. What is this? Oh, we'll just delete. I don't know what it is. Kind of application. I have to go through these often. Downloads stuff on my computer. Said anything. That one's that says it process. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to negative and I'm going to share it. Only because I don't like her political view and her bullshit talks. Okay, let's just go ahead. Here we go. So yeah, I share stuff even if I don't like it, but that's only because it leaves open. Open in web.
In the original Brothers Grimm version of Snow White, the evil queen's punishment is far more horrifying than the sanitized.
Yeah, they put her in burning shoes and she dances. Close that. That definitely get. So yeah, this is
versions we see today. After Snow White is revived by the prince and marries him, the wicked queen is invited to the wedding. At the celebration, she is forced to wear red-hot iron shoes and dance until she dies as punishment for her cruelty. In the original Brothers Grimm version of
Yep, that was it. She was forced to dance to death in burning shoes. Like these, yeah, I'm gonna put these up because, yeah, why not? Pause it. Share it. Yeah, what is that? Bunch of girls standing in front of a camera. Wow. Good for you. But good trailer.
Once upon a time, in time a prince would come. Once upon a time, but now that time is gone.
we've seen it, we've heard it, and I keep coming across this. Yeah, that was a good one. Come on. Why aren't you moving, mouse? Hello, take it. Okay, there. Sometimes it does that on me. No, we're not going to do that one. That one. Yeah, we'll do this one.
Magic mirror on the
What the fuck? The hell? See that, right? What the hell? Oh my gosh. Anyway,
magic mirror on the wall.
so yeah. Wow. All right. Cause there's more. Huh. Okay, yeah, we'll do this one.
She was the first villain ever.
The evil queen in Disney's live-action Snow White remake
I didn't want that. Close that. I don't know what popped up. Anyway, let's share it. Honestly, out of the two actresses, I think Gal Gadot is the one.
isn't just a fresh take on the first Disney villainess. For Gal Gadot, it's also her first villainous role.
So much different than anything else I've ever done.
Known for playing Wonder Woman, Gal brought many of her skills to embody the evil queen.
I changed my voice and I used my body as a way to express her even more.
Despite the heavy use of CGI in the movie, the perfect costume and makeup helped her embrace the role with ease.
It was all real prosthetics and all of that.
Can we call her Evil Beauty?
I super enjoyed every second of it. She was the first villain ever.
The evil queen in Disney's live-action Snow White remake isn't
Now,
just a
come
fresh
on
take.
now. Jeez. Acting up. Have to change the batteries in it. Let's see what else you got. Open a new tab.
The Daily Wire's making a live-action Snow White movie starring conservative YouTuber Brett Cooper. I was not expecting.
Pause it. Share it. I've always share it. This is the one I want. This is the one I've been. Look, it says Joe Rogan. Right? And yeah, the
This announcement. At least Brett Cooper looks like Snow White in this promo, whereas you can't really say the same thing about Rachel Zegler. You know, it'd be one thing if Snow White turned around and put a MAGA hat on or some bullshit. That's not, people don't want propaganda on the other side. They just want propaganda-free entertainment.
And that really is the main point. We're just trying to represent the values that Snow White is based in, the timeless values that we all loved growing up that are sadly being forgotten in this new adaptation. Weird. Somebody said, who's playing
I
Snow
know
White,
it's weird.
Ben or Brett? I can't even tell. Never heard that joke before. That's really clever. I saw comments of people asking if the entire movie was just going to be a Ben Shapiro deepfake. Like, come on, guys. Ben and I did a video together. We've killed those rumors. We've moved on.
That's what they want you to think.
The Daily Wire's making a live-action Snow White movie starring conservative YouTuber Brett Cooper. I was not expecting this announcement. At least Brett Cooper looks like Snow White in this promo, whereas you can't really say the same thing about Rachel Zegler. You know, it'd be one thing if Snow White turned around and put a MAGA hat on or some bullshit. That's not, People don't want propaganda on the other side. They just want propaganda-free entertainment.
And that really is the main point. We're just trying to represent the values that Snow White is based in, the timeless values that we all loved growing up that are sadly being forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody knows you're actually putting out the right movie. Oh, it's Cab.
Someday my prince will come.
We're gonna share this. I don't know what that is. But anyway, it doesn't really.
My dreams come true. Someday my prince will come.
And yeah, it starts over. We already shared it. That's all that matters. Okay. All right. Now I'm just gonna do some hardcore friggin' spamming of a proper movie. Yes, that's what we're gonna do now. Oh shit! I screwed it up. Open in new tab. Now we're gonna do the hardcore spamming of proper movie. Which means I'm just gonna be sharing this trailer slash a bunch. Not this one single trailer, but the Snow White and the Evil.
Who is fairest of them all?
It is you, my queen.
Oh, I forgot
Snow
to do
White.
Are you ready to discover the price for using magic?
Yet another kingdom falls to your glory. But on this day, one has come of age. There
Yeah, so what I was saying is I forgot to do something on my tools. But I'll look it up in a second. Pop this. That is definitely not. Anyway, I'll look that up later because I don't.
Fairer even
think I can
than
find it
you.
right now. Plus,
She's
I
the
have to use
reason
restroom.
your
So
powers
I'll be right
wane.
back.
Who is it?
Snow White.
She is my undoing?
She is also your salvation queen. Take her heart in your hand, and you shall never again weaken or
Actually,
age.
I'm going to hold off for a minute
Immortality.
because I want to.
The Evil Queen. We have to stop her.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Oh, I got another one. Yep. Ooh, 2022. So this is. Oh, I'm already following. Oh. I'm already following this one. Uh, Someone else, yada yada. But yeah, I got another overlays person here for Twitch channel. I don't need to worry about. Yeah, okay. How long is it? 1 minute, 4 minutes, 8 minutes. Uh, this one's 10 minutes, so we're gonna go with this one, and I'll be right back after this. Yeah, sorry about this. I just need to find something for a decent amount of time.
while you work.
Disney just dropped the first teaser for its live-action Snow White. And instead of casting a spell, it sparked an internet firestorm that's burning hotter than ever. Starring Rachel Zegler as the fairest of them all, and Gal Gadot as the wickedly glamorous evil queen, the trailer was supposed to be a magical moment. Unveiled at Disney's D23 Expo with all the glitz and glam of a Hollywood premiere, fans expected to be enchanted. Zegler looked every bit the princess, serenading us with Whistle While You Work, while Gadot oozed villainous charm as she demanded, "Who's the fairest of them all?"
The fairest one of all.
But just when it seemed like Disney was set for another fairy tale triumph, the 7 CGI dwarfs appeared, and Rachel revealed they were changing up the story completely. You best believe the internet collectively lost its mind, and the backlash was fierce. Instead of basking in the glow of Disney magic, Zegler then was caught in the middle of an online disaster that was only getting messier. Flash forward to D23 2024, when Zegler took center stage to unveil her Snow White reimagining, hoping to win over the critics. But instead of fairy dust, she got hit with the stuff of nightmares, a social media storm. You see, the trailer, featuring Gal Gadot as the gloriously wicked evil queen, and those infamous CGI dwarfs, left fans feeling more meh than magic. And just like that, the haters came out in full force. But the story doesn't end there. In the midst of the Snow White shade, one particularly vile troll decided to take things way too far when he said someone should just end Zegler's life. Of course, given how serious that statement was, Twitter quickly yanked the post for violating its guidelines. But not before Zegler saw it. And boy oh boy did she deliver a clapback worthy of Broadway itself. She just simply tweeted back saying, "Fun fact, I will be dying 8 times a week on Broadway this fall. Get your tickets, Lee." Oh, did we mention she's set to star alongside Heartstopper heartthrob Kit Connor in the upcoming revival of Romeo and Juliet? Now, Zegler's fans rallied around their queen, flooding her feed with love and virtual hugs. Some people called her a champ, while others said, "Never stop being you." In any case, it seems Zegler had all the support she needed, while the other half of the world kept firing at her. But the thing is, many people's dislike for the actress isn't something new. It's actually a response that has built up after quite some time. In fact, the backlash reached a point where the actress was being talked about even on news channels for her insufferable attitude.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat, and that's why people are so annoyed.
You see, when Disney dropped the bombshell in 2021 that Rachel Zegler would be donning the crown as Snow White, you could practically hear the internet gasp. But instead of celebrating this fresh take on a classic, some folks went full troll, and they began throwing shade at Zegler's casting for not being white enough to play the princess with skin as white as snow. Apparently, in the 21st century, a little diversity in fairy tales is still too much for some people to handle. The online uproar was as ugly as the evil queen's jealousy, with critics fixated on Zegler's Polish-Colombian roots rather than her star power. Haters questioned why an actress of Latin descent should dare to play a role that's been locked in the Disney vault since 1937. But Zegler, proving she's every bit the princess Disney knew she was, didn't let the trolls rain on her parade.
What are you
Instead, she
talking
took
about?
to X to shut down the nonsense with grace and a side of sass. She wrote, "I really, truly do not want to see it," alongside throwback pics of herself as a little girl dressed as, you guessed it, a princess. Turns out this queen has been slaying the royal game since day one. And with a final mic drop, Zegler added that she hoped every child out there believes they could be a princess if they wanted to be. While that claim
But
seems
you're
cute
lying.
and all, some people just aren't having it. In fact, many people have come out and said Rachel's version of Snow White is just too woke. Especially since Zegler said they changed up the original story because being saved by Prince Charming was just too old-fashioned.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
Not gonna be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
Gone was the damsel in distress waiting for her prince to show up with a kiss. Instead, this Snow White is all about setting her own terms, wielding power, and dreaming about leadership, not true love.
The fact that she's not going to be saved
went
by the
backwards.
prince, and she's the proactive one, and she's the one who set the terms, is what makes it so relevant.
But Zegler didn't stop there. She became a full feminist icon and emphasized that this new Snow White
You know what? I gotta change my thing to negative. I wasn't paying attention to this trailer. I went to the bathroom. And yeah, she's not an icon. If you're talking about an icon of immorality, yeah, that she is an icon of what not to do. We're gonna share this one. I think I understand now why I don't remember it. Because it's bullshit. That's why. I mean, he's total garbage. Alright. Yeah, we did that one. We did this one, right? I don't know. I know we did the first one. Let's go ahead and open this window.
What does the mirror show you? What do you see?
I am but a reflection.
Mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
You are my queen, but not for long. She will grow to be more beautiful and even you. There is a war coming, in which all secrets will be revealed.
You're alive. Are you?
Her name
Into the
is Snow White. It is told that she will be even fairer than you. She will be your end, my queen.
Why is she of such value?
Snow White
into the
shall kneel before me. She will beg for mercy. And then I'll tear her heart out.
Yeah, we already. Not that one. No, not there. It would open. Oh, here we go.
Once upon a time, in time a prince would come. Once upon a time, but now that time is gone.
Hold on a second. Do you know? No, I don't know who that is. Sorry. Okay, that's cool. All I'm doing is just bitching and complaining about the other Snow White that came out from Disney. That's garbage. I prefer this one, which is the one that came out from the Daily Wire. Normally, I would play video games and stuff, but I haven't found a game I can get into recently. I like story-driven games, so yeah, I'm just not finding one that pulls me in, that I can get immersed with. So I was just looking around, and then all this stuff with the Snow White stuff got me all pissed off because I rather have the original story type deal. That's why I like this one better compared to the other one, because this one's going even further back to the Grimm brothers that made the original story, which was then adapted by Walt Disney, and that's where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came from. Uh, and I didn't know about like other storylines and stuff that I didn't find out until I was going through these, found out about them. And I honestly think she has a better singing voice than the other one. Awesome. That one's done now. I didn't share it yet. Hold on, I gotta share that one. Yep, yep. That's going on. And nobody cares. I don't know why they closing that. Huh. I'm not. Nope. Ah. Wait, hold on. After screw it. Open it. Tab.
Watch. You can get BentKey now at bentkey.com or download our in beautiful Slovenia. Hello from Lake Bled in beautiful Slovenia.
Oh, that's just about BentKey.
Many of you know.
Nope. Nope. Sorry. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. No. I've played these. As you can see, I've been through a lot of them. Well, of course she's jealous. You're hotter than her. Uh-huh. Snow White and the Evil Queen. Brett Cooper. Okay. We'll open this one. The one
I will give this kingdom the queen it deserves. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
You are my queen.
Yeah. Did I share this one? Share it anyway. Like I said, these are the ones that I'm sharing mostly of. Oh, that's cool. You see that lightning and shit? That was cool. Anyway, yeah. I get tired of those things there. No one cares about that. Okay, let's open this one in a new tab.
I've already seen the teaser trailer for Snow White and the Evil Queen, but before we dive into that, because I want was a very big week, objectively a huge. Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. Last week was.
Let's share this real quick. Second.
Was a very big week, objectively a huge week. We had quite a few announcements. I loved reading all of your comments across all social media platforms about all the announcements. But the first one we rolled out was Bentkey, which is Daily Wire's new company. It's a platform for kids entertainment. If you are an annual subscriber to Daily Wire, you already have access to Bentkey, so go download it and start watching it if you have kids. Starting this past weekend, we have officially brought back Saturday morning cartoons, which is so much fun. The content, guys, is truly amazing. I make a few cameos in some of the animated shows. There are over 100 episodes of different shows already on the platform. More are being released every single week. And in addition to just announcing Bentkey, we also announced Bentkey's first live action film, which is Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that's me. I'm Snow White, which is so funny to say. Before we dive into this story, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. You might have already seen the teaser trailer for Snow White and the Evil Queen, but before we dive into that, because because I want to do a reaction and read some of the comments, I want you to see what Jeremy Boring had to say about the project first, because it gives a lot of important context.
Walt Disney embodied the American spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation. He risked everything to build his dream. One of his greatest risks and greatest achievements was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Critics at the time called it Disney's folly. They were certain it would be a flop. It was 400% over budget, and it would have bankrupted the entire company if it didn't succeed. Everything you see today from Disney was made possible by Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So there's no better example of Disney's disregard for their own heritage or their disregard for their own audience than their current remake of their own classic film. Unfortunately, the company Disney founded doesn't agree with their founder and visionary. They're remaking their own iconic film nearly 100 years later. They've decided to make some key changes. While Disney still uses Walt's name, they've all but abandoned his legacy. Instead of telling stories about timeless truth, what the ancient fairy tales were all about, Disney's new Snow White is an apology for their past and will expose children to the popular but destructive lies of the current moment.
And everything Jeremy just said, all of this is why Ben-Ki has decided to produce their own adaptation of this beloved Grimm's Brothers fairy tale, Snow White and the Evil Queen. So if you've not seen it already, here's the trailer, and then after we watch it, I'll give you some exclusive BTS stories. Okay, here we go. So cool, guys.
Once upon a time, in time a prince would come. Once upon a time, but now that time is gone.
It's so sick, y'all. It's so cool. I'm literally the one in that trailer, and I'm still like so excited, and I get chills. There I am, Gary, there I am. The whole thing is just so cool. The moment when the music starts to crescendo as I turn around, when I first heard the music, I was like, stop right there. That's just it's so amazing. Funnily enough, I recorded the song without hearing the rest of the trailer's score, so I had no idea what it would sound like. I had no idea what Jeremy and his team were envisioning, and he was actually writing the song and writing the music in between takes while he was directing Pendragon. And we were texting back and forth trying to figure out the right key and what it was going to sound like, and he was sending me messages like, I'm so sorry, I'm in the middle of, you know, a glacier valley in Italy, and my songs aren't going through, but we figured it out. We got the right key, we were on the same page, and then after I had already recorded it, he decided that he wanted to change one line in the song, so I had to go back and re-record a little bit of it, and that's when I actually heard the full score, all the orchestration, and my producer Reagan was sitting right next to me, and I think that we literally listened to just that, 30-second bit of music like 50 times, and both of us had chills. I was like, oh my God, it's literally a princess. This is literally a fairy tale. This is so crazy. We just could not get enough of it, and I truly could not believe that this was actually happening. And I think most people online were sharing the same sentiment because they could not decide whether this was real or some big joke. It's kind of like when Jeremy started Jeremy's Razors, but just like that, this is 100% real. Just like ExpressVPN is 100% secure. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network in cafes, hotels, or airports, any hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data like your passwords or your financial details. And it doesn't take much technical knowledge to hack somebody. Just some cheap hardware is needed. And then they just turn around and sell your data. These hackers can make up to $1,000 per person selling personal info on the dark web. ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so hackers cannot steal your sensitive data. ExpressVPN is so easy to use. You just fire up the app and click one button to get protected. And it works on all of your devices, your phones, your laptops, your tablets, and more, so you can stay secure on the go. So start securing your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Cooper, and you will get an extra 3 months free. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Cooper. And funnily enough, because of the way Jeremy presented this project to me, I feel like we're in the same boat that Disney and Walt Disney was in 100 years ago, because we are attempting something huge. We're going up against Disney. We have our critics, but we have passion and we have a mission in mind that is bigger than just this movie. And it might be crazy, But we are having a ton of fun and people are very excited. But all in all, the response online has been great and it has been so fun for me to watch personally. The whole team has been loving it. I want to share this TikTok in particular because it made me laugh.
The Daily Wire's making a live-action Snow White movie starring conservative YouTuber Brett Cooper. Now, obviously, we know the Daily Wire. We saw Gina Carano's movie got put on their specific streaming service and all that stuff. I was not expecting this announcement. At least Brett Cooper looks like Snow White in this promo, whereas you can't really say the same thing about Rachel Zegler. You know, it'd be one thing if Snow White turned around and put a MAGA hat on or some bullshit. That's not, people don't want propaganda on the other side. They just want propaganda-free entertainment.
It's Hollywood, baby.
And that really is the main point. We're not trying to turn Snow White into something that it's not. We're not trying to turn Snow White into a MAGA conservative movie. We're just trying to represent the values that Snow White is based in, the timeless values that we all loved growing up that are sadly being forgotten in this new adaptation. I also don't know who is more excited, this guy or me, because the way he was bouncing in that video was absolutely insane. But somebody said, who's playing Snow White, Ben or Brett? I can't even tell. Never heard that joke before. That's really clever. Never heard it before. I saw comments of people asking if the entire movie was just going to be a Ben Shapiro deepfake. Like, come on, guys. Ben and I did a video together. We've killed those rumors. We've moved on.
That's what they want you to think.
Somebody else said, get it, Daily Wire. Disney is wild and too much. I don't think I've ever heard that term used before for Disney. It's wild and too much, but hey, something new every day. Also, just have to share this video because it cracked me up.
The Daily Wire's making a Snow White movie, and they're starring Brett Cooper as Snow White. I promised myself I wouldn't simp over her anymore. But how the f*** am I not supposed to simp when she literally becomes a f***ing princess? And at last
the fact that he's singing.
I see the light, and it's like the fog has lifted. That was from Rapunzel? Because I don't know any Snow White songs, I'm sorry. We all know about the absolute dumpster fire that will be Disney's upcoming remake of Snow White with Rachel Zegler. But that's okay, it doesn't matter. Why? Because we have a brand new Snow White coming. And it's made by people that don't give a shit about being woke.
The fact that he's singing is just incredible. I'll hire you to play Prince Charming, sir. You've got a good voice. And yes, you're right. We don't give a crap about being woke. But more importantly, our creative team actually gives a crap about the source material. They want to tell the original story with the values and the themes that made the Grimm Brothers fairy tale so famous and important to begin with. Values like love and kindness and friendship and inner beauty versus vanity and romance, for Pete's sake, because apparently that's missing in 2023. Weird. No! Also, speaking of the source material, many people were asking online, how did we get the license for it? Like, I thought that Disney owned the IP. And yes, Disney has made Snow White movies. They're making their second right now, but they did not make the original. They do not own Snow White. They did not write it themselves, so that is why we were able to make our own version. I also saw a lot of comments about my hair, weirdly. Somebody said it should be a fun movie, right? Except black hair? I don't know. Shouldn't she have blonde hair? Buddy, what Snow White did you grow up watching? I do not think it was any of the ones that I saw. Also, fun fact, we are actually having to darken my hair for Snow White, which is so funny to me because I've always considered my hair to be basically black, but it looks way too brown on camera once you have those harsh lights on it. So we are darkening it, which will be very fun, and you kind of get a taste of that in the teaser. Somebody else said the only thing I don't agree with is the long hair. Snow White's hair was short. Well, again, in Disney's animated film, her hair was short. But for the Grimm story, every illustration that you can find has her with long hair, which is actually more accurate for the time period, which is also something we are trying to stay in line with. I also thought that this video was super sweet and cute. Somebody on my team found this, and I loved it. I've always thought that if I did my journals like this, I might actually stick with journaling every day, but also then I think of like the detail that goes into it. I don't have the patience for that. But I love people who do, and it's so cute. And I'm very honored. Also, the fact that I think this girl made the video like the day after the trailer was released, you guys are fast, and I love that. The art came out real quick. It's so cute. I love it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you guys are excited. I'm pumped. I love it. These were all very positive, but I did have to go to Twitter, of course, to see the response as well. Of course, it was literal mayhem, especially once the deadline and the Hollywood Reporter articles started coming out. But I did see these two tweets back to back, literally right next to each other, which cracked me up. One person said, Brett Cooper is Snow White, I'll bite. And then immediately after, Brett Cooper is Snow White, nope. You can't win them all. That's the thing, and I say this all the time about being online. Not everybody is going to like you. Not everybody is going to like what you're doing. You cannot make everybody happy. You cannot please everybody. And the moment that you let that go, especially if you are an online person or if you do anything in the public eye, the happier you will be. because who cares? Not everybody's gonna like it. And of course, as expected, there were a lot of very, very, very angry people about all of this. And many people were upset that I am a YouTuber that was cast in this, not an actor. Which, I mean, yes, I am a YouTuber now, but it's so funny to me because I've literally only been a YouTuber for a year and a half. Meanwhile, I was an actor for over a decade, so maybe people should actually be upset that I am a successful YouTuber instead because I've been doing that for less time. I don't know. Other people were just outright angry that we would even dare to challenge Disney in the new adaptation, but I really don't know why they need to be mad because they literally have their own Snow White to watch. If you don't want to watch ours, you have another one that will be coming out in the same year that you can go support and watch. Everybody has options, which seems like the perfect scenario. Thank you for watching the comment section. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, like this video, and of course...
Alright, yeah, that's fine. It's already done. Is that this one? Oh yeah, that was it. Alright, well, open this one in tab. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm going through my videos on
Mirror on the wall. Who is fairest of them all?
It is you, my queen. Snow White.
Are you ready to discover the price for using magic?
Yet another kingdom falls to your glory. But on this day, one has come of age. Fairer even than you. She is the reason your powers wane.
Who is it?
Snow White.
She is my undoing?
She is also yours.
And that's already done. We'll also put share this on. We're gonna share it. Actually, that was cool. Look at that. I love these videos. Okay, this one deserves a thing because he's painting the sky on the ceiling. Bubbles. Wow. I could never do that. That's my only thought on that subject. I can never do that. I would love to be able to do, but I can't do that. So how's everyone doing? Anyway, okay, let's see, what's next? That one. No. There we go. Opening tab once again.
Conservative media company The Daily Wire is making its own live-action Snow White movie. The announcement follows right-wing backlash over Disney's upcoming live-action Snow White film starring Rachel Zegler. The Daily...
You hear how they're always like, right-wing backlash. A difference of an opinion, not right-wing backlash. It's the fact that y'all are immoral bastards.
The Wire's version will be titled Snow White and the Evil Queen. It will star YouTuber Brett Cooper as the princess and be based on the original Brothers Grimm fairy tale, which is now in the public domain. The company released this teaser.
In time, a prince would come.
The film was announced alongside the launch of BintKey, Daily Wire's new kids entertainment brand that seeks to take on Disney+. Cooper, who hosts the Daily Wire-produced show The Comments Section with Brett Cooper, said, "I was raised on the original Grimm's fairy tales, so I'm thrilled that we're bringing this iconic story to life for the next generation. Snow White is such a beautiful character, and I'm honored to be playing her. Like all the best fairy tales, this is a story with timeless values like love, friendship, and kindness, and I can't wait to share them. The move comes after Disney's upcoming live-action remake of 1937's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs has generated some culture war controversy. First, conservative critics took issue with the casting of Latina star Zegler as a character described in the original Brothers Grimm story as having skin as white as snow, and the production changing the Seven Dwarfs into a diverse collection of magical creatures. Then, 22-year-old Zegler caused a stir when a flurry of comments from late last year resurfaced over the summer that suggested the new movie would take a different approach to the iconic character.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Snow White and the Evil Queen is coming sometime in 2024. Disney's Snow White is set for theaters on March 22nd, 2024. The studio had no immediate comment on the Daily Wire project. For more on this story, go to thr.com. This is the Hollywood Reporter News.
Oh, there they are. Now you can see it. Wow. Hours. Stuff. It's processing. Okay, now that makes sense. Dashboard? Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. Go ahead and share that. I don't know if I did or not. Pretty gun. All right. Oh, this one, yeah, but definitely open that one.
We're checking out the teaser for Snow White and the Evil Queen.
This should be really interesting.
They're kind of biased, but still. Just think of them as shoes. I would prefer you think of them as toys.
Excited to check it out. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Comment your thoughts. Let's dive on in. Think Key presents. Ooh, she's got a really pretty voice. Hello, Timeless Tree.
I love her dress.
Oh, wow. And how I've read the apples are.
Once upon a time, but now that time is gone.
Oh, wow. Brett Cooper. No lie. And the Evil Queen. I think this project is super interesting. The fact that they're releasing this next year at the same time as Disney's doing it. Here's my thoughts. I am not against them doing this because my thoughts is always competition is not a bad thing. It's in the public sphere. What's your thoughts?
I like the style of it. I'm just curious, like, how they're gonna do the story.
I don't want it to look cheap. That's the biggest thing. I don't want it to look cheap.
I mean, just looking at that, it looks like they put a little bit more money than other companies into the production.
Also, something I am curious on is how faithful they are to the original story.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not like campy or anything like that.
Yes. Something I find interesting, when you look at all the other Snow White live action remakes, basically, none of them are faithful to the original story. They either make her a warrior or a thief, or there's so many different versions.
To be faithful to the original story is
dark.
It's dark. Like in the end, the evil queen, she has on hot iron shoes and she dances to death.
I kind of hope they go that route.
That'd be neat.
It'd be neat if they went like full faithful, very like just fully faithful to the original story. We've really not seen that. I'm very curious, and we're gonna check out the Disney one. I want to check it out too, even if there's changes. We give all movies a chance. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, we'll let you know. But I just think this project is really interesting, and I think the fact that it's really trending and people are really finding it interesting. But my thing is this: I'm gonna check out Disney. I'm gonna check out this movie. I just want a good movie, and that's what I want to go into it with. So, if you haven't already, give your comments below. Are you gonna check it out? Are you just staunchly against it? And if you are, I understand. We get it. But if you want to check it out, let us know. Yeah, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Give me a sec. I just did it. I've gone. Good. Did I share this one? I think I did. We'll do it again. Okay. More the merrier. Or good ones. Ooh. Their notifications. They put this. This is a like. Oh. We'll follow you. 24. Yeah. See, these are all bots, but you know I follow them anyway. Oh, that was a huntsman. That's the original. Tab.
Once upon a time,
Who is this? I like the beginning.
in time a prince would come. Once upon a time, but now that time
Brings me back to my childhood.
is gone.
No freaking way! No!
And yeah, that was another Brett Cooper one. Tab.
That's very kind of you. Just one bite. For good fortune. To the fairest of them all. Very kind of you. Just one bite.
It's important to know when you've been beat. That's Sleeping Beauty. Yeah. That one. What the frig am I looking at right there? We did that one before. No, I want the evil. Not much. Snow White and the evil. That's want. Broad joke. My career over. See, I'll be honest. There is not much for the one I like. And trying to find more on it, kind of hard. Yeah, as you scroll down, getting all these other ones as well. And a lot of them you don't know, but right now they're getting hit up because of stuff like this. I'll open this in tab. I'll play it again. Of course, I'm going to pause it right away. And I'm going to share it. Oh, I haven't. We're going to hit that one with a like. We're going to share this because it deserves to be shared. And we're going to post it. But
Mirror on the wall. Who is fairest of them all?
Set in a mystical kingdom, the film narrates the tale of Snow White, a princess whose beauty incites the envy of her stepmother, the evil queen. The story delves into the queen's obsession with being the fairest of all and the lengths she will go to maintain her status, juxtaposed against Snow White's innocence and purity. Plot details. The narrative follows Snow White, a kind-hearted princess whose beauty becomes a threat to her vain and wicked stepmother, the evil queen. Determined to remain the fairest in the land, the queen plots to eliminate Snow White. Upon discovering the queen's intentions, Snow White flees into the enchanted forest, where she encounters 7 dwarfs who offer her refuge. As the queen's pursuit intensifies, Snow White's resilience and the bonds she forms are tested, leading to a climactic confrontation that underscores the triumph of love and goodness over vanity and evil. Cast: Brett Cooper as Snow White, portraying the innocent and kind-hearted princess whose beauty and virtue become the focal point of the queen's envy. Additional cast members are yet to be announced, with casting decisions aimed at bringing depth and nuance to the timeless characters of the fairy tale. Release date: Snow White and the Evil Queen is slated for release in 2025. While a specific date has not been confirmed, the film is expected to premiere on Benki, a platform known for producing family-oriented content. Trailer information: As of now, an official trailer has not been released. However, a teaser is anticipated to debut in the coming months, offering audiences a glimpse into the film's visual aesthetic and narrative approach. Production details: Writers: The screenplay is crafted by Jeremy Boring, drawing inspiration from the original Brothers Grimm story, aiming to capture the timeless essence of the fairy tale while introducing elements that resonate with contemporary audiences. Production company: Bent Key Productions, recognized for creating content that emphasizes traditional values and family-friendly narratives.
I should have. I don't know. Let's just. Okay, we're gonna refresh the whole thing. So there we go. Oh, open a new tab. Check
This is
this one.
Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that.
Alright, let's dive into the latest Hollywood drama that's got everyone talking. So here's the scoop. Brett Cooper, the conservative star from the Daily Wire, has stepped into the role of Snow White, taking over from Rachel Zegler. This switch-up has sparked a ton of buzz, and you guessed it, controversy. People are definitely picking sides on social media about this one.
Bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1930s years ago, and therefore it's extremely. A lot of people will assume it's a love story just because, like, we cast a guy.
Now Rachel Zegler had a unique take on the classic Snow White story. She wanted to shake things up by ditching the prince. Yeah, no Prince Charming in this version. She thought it was time to give Snow White a modern twist where she isn't waiting around to be saved by a guy. Bold move, right? But not everyone was thrilled. Some fans, especially those who cherish the traditional fairy tale, were pretty upset. They want the story they grew up with, Prince and all. Imagine you're sitting there thinking you're going to get that nostalgic happily ever after with the handsome prince and the lovely princess. But nope, instead you get a plot twist that ditches the romance. I can hear folks saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This change has definitely ruffled some feathers, sparking debates about whether classic should be changed at all. The drama doesn't stop with just the story changes. Fans have more beef with Disney over how they're switching up the whole look and feel of Snow White. First off, Disney decided to cast a Latina actress for the role of Snow White. Now this stirred up quite a conversation. Some people are all for this fresh take, celebrating the diversity, but others not so much. They feel like it's straying too far from the Snow White they know and love, who's famously white as snow. And it doesn't end there. Disney went ahead and changed the movie's name from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to just Snow White. Why? Because, get this, the new movie is only featuring one dwarf character. Yep, just one. Fans are scratching their heads, wondering why even call it Snow White if you're going to change so much about it. It's like ordering a cheeseburger and getting a salad instead. You can almost hear people saying, "Hold up, Disney, what are you doing to our beloved fairy tales? It's a hot topic, and everyone's got an opinion." Some are saying Disney is just trying to be too politically correct, and it's taking away from the story we all grew up with. Rachel Zegler didn't just stop at removing the prince from the story. She went on to call the traditional romantic plot outdated, even tagging the prince as a creepy stalker. That's a bold statement, right? It's like she's flipping the script on those old-school fairy tale vibes where the prince saves the day. But not everyone's cheering. Some fans are like, wait a minute, aren't these tales supposed to be about fantasy and escape? Why make the prince creepy? Enter Brett Cooper, the new Snow White under the Daily Wire's banner, who isn't just sitting back. She jumped right into the fray with a strong defense of the classic fairy tale love story. Brett's not having any of this modern take on the prince as a stalker. Her take resonated with a lot of folks who feel that fairy tales should stick to their roots. I mean, imagine watching your favorite childhood movies, and someone tells you everything you loved about them was all wrong.
Yep, that's what they're doing. So I'm going to actually share this one because it's definitely better than most. This woman is just trying to get looks.
That's kind of jarring, right? And just when you thought it couldn't get more heated, the Daily Wire throws a curveball. They're making their own version of Snow White starring none other than Brett Cooper herself. Talk about a plot twist. They're saying, you want classic? We'll give you classic. This move has sparked a ton of excitement and curiosity. People are lining up online to see which Snow White will wear the crown better. Will it be Ziegler's modern, princeless Snow White or Cooper's traditional fairy tale version? The debate is on. The plot thickens with the Daily Wire's version of Snow White, which sticks closer to the original fairy tale, setting the stage for a showdown with Disney's modernized take. Imagine two Snow Whites battling it out in the world of cinema. Now that's a movie in itself. The Daily Wire is playing it smart, going for that nostalgia factor, which could really pull in folks who miss the classic stories. This rivalry got so intense that Disney even pushed back their movie release from 2024 to 2025. Yeah, you heard that right. Seems like they're feeling the heat and maybe taking a step back to see how the wind blows. It's not every day that a giant like Disney decides to delay a big project like Snow White. Some are whispering that maybe Disney's trying to dodge a head-to-head battle at the box office or even rethinking some of their creative choices, and boy, has this stirred up a storm among fans. People are picking sides like it's some kind of fairy tale. In the sports league, on one side you've got fans who are all for Disney shaking things up, saying it's high time to ditch those dated stereotypes and give us a Snow White who doesn't need a prince to save her. On the other, there are loads of folks rooting for the Daily Wire's version, craving that sweet old school magic where the prince sweeps Snow White off her feet. So what's it going to be? Are you in for a modern remake, or are you craving that classic fairy tale charm? This debate is far from over, and everyone's eager to see which Snow White will capture the audience's heart. Drop your thoughts below and let us know where you stand on this fairy tale. Face off, and hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to keep up with all the latest in movie news and more, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Woke Informant, and ring the bell so you never miss out on our discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Haters. Haters are everywhere. Haters. Uh, go back to the top and hit refresh again. They never said the movie was over. She just left the show. Dumbass. And everybody wants to see this one. With her not working in the office, definitely working on the movie. What's this? Um,
So it seemed as though the Snow White backlash was starting to quiet down, with Rachel Zegler being busy performing Romeo and Juliet on Broadway, so she wasn't really doing many interviews, therefore lowering any chance of sparking outrage from people online. However, she recently accepted an interview with Variety in which she was asked about the Snow White backlash, and her response has once again led to the public being outraged at not just one thing she said in the interview, but two. With the first part being where she stated that she has watched women get torn down her entire life, and implied that that is the underlying reason for why she's being attacked over Snow White, which, as you can imagine, has led to a massive amount of backlash from the public. But then the second point, also polarizing the internet, is where she says the following. As she recalled the hate that erupted during the Snow White backlash, she said, "In all honesty, it made me sad that it was taken in such a way, because I believe that women can do anything, but I also believe that they can do everything." Zegler says that what she'd meant to convey was that Snow White wants romance, but also has other goals. However, people have been quick to respond to her saying this by playing an old interview of hers, where she seems to explicitly say that this new Snow White movie isn't about love at all.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her. And she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
So I think her new response here suggests that possibly the reshoots that they did may have been working some romance back into the movie, but I'll touch on that later, as the first point I wanted to analyze here was where she said that women being torn down was the major reason for her Snow White backlash. And of course, with this being such a hot, divisive topic online right now, I'm going to focus on the facts of the situation and statement in order to cut out all the hearsay. So if we take her statement there at face value, it would suggest that whenever a young woman is cast in such a massive role, people will be looking for any excuse to cut her down. So let's take a look at the previous Disney live-action remakes, in which almost all have focused on female characters, which definitely makes this all the more easier to analyze. So a massive live-action remake they made back in 2015 was Cinderella, in which there really wasn't any controversy around the movie at all, and by all accounts the main actress had a pretty smooth and seamless ride while marketing and filming the movie. And while it's not Disney, we can also look at the Cinderella movie made in 2021, which starred Camila Cabello, who, like Rachel Zegler, is of Hispanic descent, and she also didn't receive anywhere near the type of backlash that Rachel Zegler did. In fact, James Corden received more backlash for that movie than Camila Cabello did. And then we can also look at the 2019 Disney live-action Beauty and the Beast, in which Emma Watson received virtually no backlash for that one too, or at least once again not anywhere near the level of backlash that Rachel Zegler received. And then we get to the most recent comparison being the Little Mermaid movie, which was also extremely divisive and copped a lot of backlash, but once again it seemed to be more focused on the movie and the casting, and it never really got as personal towards Halle Bailey as it did towards Rachel Zegler. In fact, one of the loudest voices in the online criticism of Rachel Zegler's Snow White being the critical drinker had this to say in regards to Halle Bailey and her Little Mermaid movie.
And it's not until you step back for a minute and think about the two different actresses that you realise how this interview is trying to manipulate you. Because in a nutshell, these two people are not alike at all. First up, let's consider Halle Bailey and the journey she's been on so far. She definitely took some heat for her role in The Little Mermaid, mostly because she was playing a race-swap version of a historically white character. Now, you can debate the merits of that argument as much as you like, but the point here is that what most people had a problem with was Bailey's casting, not Bailey as a person. Why? Because she gave them no reason to. She generally came across as pretty charming and likeable in interviews and press junkets, just another actress doing her job and excited to be taking on such a big role. She didn't feel the need to bite back at her detractors, she didn't criticise the original movie for its lack of diversity, and she didn't disrespect her own co-stars or act like she was entitled to even more than she already had. This was a very smart move on her part, because she largely avoided the controversy swirling around the movie, and today, most people seem to have a pretty sympathetic attitude towards her. Rachel Zegler, on the other hand, started out in much the same way, but ultimately followed a very different path.
So by analysing the other reactions to female leads against Rachel Zegler's, I think it paints a picture of it not so much being about women, but more so about Rachel Zegler's personal comments.
That's really all it is. It's her. She's bringing it upon herself, and she's blaming everything else except the facts. Right? So if you blame everything else but the facts, which is brought this upon yourself, this is what's going to happen.
Because while I'm not saying that there aren't any wackos out there who are just attacking her for her gender, it doesn't appear to be the majority or the main driving factor. In fact, even certain feminist groups have spoken out against Rachel Zegler as well. So what is it about her that has brought on this much backlash? It seems to me to be more about her very strong opinions, which she is within her rights to hold and voice. However, whenever you hold firm opinions on something, you will always be polarizing. So some will agree with you and some won't. So it seems that those who don't agree with her are being extremely loud in their backlash, but that all seems to stem from her own strongly held opinions. Which, as I said, she is within her rights in a country like the US to have, except having those opinions will always result in having people disagree with you, and that can lead to situations like we have right now with all the backlash going on. So I think having a blanket statement of it just being because she's a woman doesn't really get to the root of the issue here, which seems to be her strong opinions. And even when we look past Disney movies, I think there are many examples of young, talented female actors being supported and celebrated from the public. Those examples being Jenna Ortega, to Anya Taylor-Joy, to Zendaya, to Sydney Sweeney, so I think it can also depend which way you look at it, because through those examples, many young women are being uplifted and definitely not torn down. So as I said, I don't want to say that there aren't some wackos out there who do just hate on someone based on their gender, but that doesn't seem to be the majority at the moment, and so I think the situation is far too dense to be able to use such a blanket statement, and if there's one thing we've all learnt by this point, is that things are never black and white, and life is always complex, so blanket statements for the most part don't usually work. And at the end of the day, movies are there to please the audience, so whether or not this movie is good depends entirely on the audience reception, and both Rachel Zegler and the audience are allowed to have their opinions and voice them online, even if they conflict, as I think Denzel Washington put it best by saying this.
There's been so many protests in America, especially during the election, Black Lives Matter movement, for example, and those issues. Has that movement in particular, the Black Lives Matter movement, helped race relations or not in America?
Well, listen, we live in America, and in America we have the freedom to express ourselves. We shouldn't take that for granted. So whatever the movements are, whether you agree with them or don't, they have the right to express themselves. So that's one of the great things about being in this country.
But overall, what are your thoughts on the situation here? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always,
good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
More notifications.
What is going on with the Snow White movie? Like a lot of people, I grew up watching and loving Disney movies. I had the compilation albums, I dressed up as the characters for Halloween, I ate off of special Disney plates, and I had plushies of all my favorite animal sidekicks. But in recent years, I hesitate to even call myself a fan, because I've been left disappointed far too many times to count. Since the company's inception in 1923, Disney has had its fair share of ups and downs creatively, but if you ask me, they're currently in one of their worst slumps to date. I credit this to their over-reliance on their pre-existing IP, with the vast majority of their recent releases consisting of unimaginative remakes and sequels. While a few of these projects have tanked, others have been massive successes, and with Disney continuously prioritizing its shareholders over its audience, it looks like they're going to be continuing down this derivative path for the foreseeable future. One of their upcoming projects is 2025's Snow White, a live-action remake of the animated 1937 film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and based on what I've seen so far, I don't have very high hopes for it. Today I'm going to be sharing my initial thoughts on Disney's Snow White and discuss where I think they went wrong, including the girl boss storyline, bizarre animation, controversial casting, and lackluster costume design. Let's get into it. Since 2010, Disney has released over a dozen live-action remakes, including Alice in Wonderland, Maleficent, Cinderella, The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Lady and the Tramp, Mulan, Cruella, Peter Pan and Wendy, Pinocchio, and The Little Mermaid. And some of these, like Maleficent and The Lion King, have even gone on to have sequels. You might have noticed that all of these live-action remakes are based off of Disney movies that were traditionally animated, and the reason for that is more simple than you'd think. Disney's entire brand relies on awareness, and by releasing movies based on their pre-existing IP, they're not only able to profit off of their fans' nostalgia, but also rope in some new viewers as well. This reintroduction is especially important when it comes to children, as the vast majority aren't going to take the time to watch a movie that's 10 times older than they are. Just think about it, your favorite Disney character is probably one that you saw in theaters as a kid. Unlike Moana or Frozen, whose sequels Disney can easily add to the growing number of computer-animated projects on their roster, it's literally impossible for them to make continuations of their older films ever since the hand-drawn division was shut down in 2013. Disney's decision to switch from traditional to computer animation is rooted in the studio's 2000 slump, which saw the release of box office disappointments like Home on the Range, Fantasia 2000, and Treasure Planet. At the same time, Pixar, who had embraced computer animation, was thriving, and quickly became one of Disney's biggest competitors. After seeing other companies' success, Disney decided to dip its toes into computer animation with projects like Chicken Little, Bolt, and Meet the Robinsons, but they were received about as well as their hand-drawn films from the time period, so they continued switching back and forth between the two styles. In 2009, they released The Princess and the Frog, and although it was praised as a return to form for the company, it didn't meet Disney's expectations financially. The following year, they released Tangled, which combined their tried-and-true fairy tale formula with modern computer animation, and the film was a smash hit. When Frozen came out in 2013 and broke box office records, that was the final nail in the coffin for hand-drawn animation, and CEO Bob Iger announced that the division would be closing permanently. At the time, the reason for switching to computer animation was cited as being cost-effective, which I'm not so sure is true, considering The Princess and the Frog cost less to make than Up did the same year. Sure, one made a lot more money, but I don't think that had anything to do with it being computer animated versus hand-drawn. Now, with the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs film being traditionally animated, Disney obviously couldn't give it a computer animated sequel. Just think about how people reacted when the art style changed halfway through American Dragon Jake Long. So, they were left with no choice but to go down the live-action remake route. But if you know anything about the Walt Disney Company, then you know what a slap in the face that decision is. What's important to understand about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was that it was Walt Disney's passion project, and despite all of Hollywood warning him against it, he stuck to his guns and made it anyway, putting his entire business on the line in the process. Thankfully, Snow White became one of the biggest movies of the 1930s, completely changing the animation industry and legitimizing Disney in the eyes of the public. Because of the film's popularity, Walt briefly considered making an animated short that would serve as a loose continuation of the Snow White story, but he wound up scrapping the project, no doubt because of his well-recorded disdain for sequels. Quote, "I'm a born experimenter. To this day, I don't believe in sequels. I can't follow popular cycles. I have to move on to new things. There are many new worlds to conquer." Can someone remind Bob Iger of that? During his lifetime, Walt never stopped trying to innovate, even when the company was on the verge of bankruptcy, and he'd be positively shocked at the way things are operating now. Considering how profitable the Walt Disney Company is as a whole, there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be taking risks when it comes to filmmaking. They literally have a $200 billion parachute, but instead, they're just coasting on their name recognition. Disregarding the fact that a live-action Snow White film just feels cheap, the animation itself is an eyesore, which is pretty ironic considering Disney was first and foremost an animation studio. Meanwhile, other studios are turning out projects like Klaus, Wolfwalkers, Nimona, Blue Eye Samurai, Arcane, Across the Spider-Verse, and The Wild Robot. And what is going on with the weird orange filter on everything? Since the company's inception, everything about their female characters, from their appearance to their personality to their role in the story, has been a reflection of the time period they were created. Although she's often criticized by modern viewers for being boring and weak, Snow White was an inspiration to women who had lived through the Great Depression. With the rise of girl boss feminism in the 2010s, Disney was routinely chastised for its depiction of female characters, with people saying they were too reliant on men and lacked true strength. I never agreed, but enough of these BuzzFeed articles and Tumblr posts went viral that Disney decided to make some changes. But if you ask me, they overcorrected. In their animated projects, they removed romantic storylines and made the female characters the same brand of quirky, while in live-action remakes, shallow changes were made to make them appear more tough and independent. Mulan now has magic powers that only men have. Belle's father is an even bigger buffoon, and she's the inventor instead. And Jasmine wants to rule Agrabah by herself. With the 7 Dwarves being dropped from the title, it's pretty clear that the Snow White remake is going to be headed in a similar girl boss direction, something that's also been reiterated by the cast. They've said time and time again that their version of Snow White isn't going to have a big love story, which I personally think is a mistake. Now, I understand people's complaints about the original prince. After all, he barely has any screen time before he and Snow White have their happily ever after. But that's only because Disney felt like they couldn't pull off the storyline they had actually planned for him, which involved being kidnapped by the evil queen and saved by Snow White's animal friends. Instead of removing the romantic subplot from the remake, why not flesh out the prince's storyline to make his and Snow White's relationship more believable? Why does Disney keep acting like being in love makes a woman weak? I also think it's funny that they're acting like a Snow White who wants to save her kingdom is such a newfangled idea, when back